What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king, welcoming you back to more Let's Play Pokemon White. In the last episode, we arrived here in Icirrus City, and you might recall that it was the middle of summer when we did that, but it's winter now. I know, we've been hanging out here a long time, decided to just take a load off for a couple of months and wait for the weather to turn around, to the best time of year, everybody's favorite. No, but actually, the main reason that I wanted to do this is so that I can actually get access to some items, and I need to do that by getting past all of these people. I'm going to grab a rare candy over here. We're going to be grabbing a bunch of items here in Icirrus City to start off today. Then we are going to be heading back into Twist Mountain and getting more items that way. Once all is said and done, we should be able to revert back to the status quo. You'll notice now that we slide along the ice, but you can't run into wild Pokemon out here anymore, which is kind of the trade-off here. Probably a good trade-off. I mean, you can still, in the parts you can surf on, but that's about it. Am I going past anything? Okay, there we go. There you're at. Let's grab this big mushroom, which hilariously, we can only get these big mushrooms in the winter. How does that make any sense? I honestly don't know. But we got tiny mushrooms, big mushrooms, and then like one more over here, another tiny mushroom. Thank you very much. And I actually think that's all of the items here in Icirrus. So now we can head back on over to Twist Mountain and then take a look in there. So, and also Charon is still sitting here waiting for us, which I find highly amusing. So I have actually dropped Lumiette into the PC for the sheer fact that she is not going to be doing a whole lot in the coming routes. Not in this particular episode. Also, there's a cone there, which means we can't go out that way. Very important to note, because if you try to go out that way, you'd just be walking into a wall of snow. So we need to actually go out this direction to make our way outside. And this is now the lowest possible level that we can access with ease. So really quickly, I'm going to use this to pinpoint the item that we couldn't originally get before, which is another rare candy. So let's do that. And then we will head on inside here and take a look. We got ourselves another item, a metal coat. This is a held item that is necessary for evolving Scyther into Scizor. You give it to Scyther and it will, and trade it into Scizor, and then it will actually be able to evolve that way. Now, it looks like we have an item here as well, a little Stardust. And I do believe there's also one door over this way as well that we can access that we couldn't get otherwise. So let me turn around and grab that item. Got ourselves another iron. Thank you. Repel's effect wore off, but that's okay. And let's see. Let's put another one of those on. I do need to go and buy a bunch of max repels, which I will be doing before we make our way back to Nuvema Town. But for now, let's head on in here. And we do have one more stop. This is our final stop here in this episode, taking a look around over this way, making our way through these caves. We do have more trainers in here. In fact, I do believe this leads back down towards the entrance, but I just want to be absolutely sure we're not missing out on any items here. And it doesn't look like we are, because that leads back to that main entrance. So really the only thing that's accessible now that we are here in winter is this ace trainer here, although I have to get through that cloud of dust if I want to get to them. So let me defeat this Drillbur here really quickly. Although I can't actually remember if we've actually fought this person yet. I don't know. I guess we'll find out for ourselves. So let's see. Yes. Okay. So one trainer that still sits here in Twist Mountain untouched. There might be a couple of items past this guy. I honestly don't know 100%. But we're going to battle him first just to see. So we've got 3 Pokemon, starting off immediately with a Krokorok, which means I am going to immediately have to switch. And fully expect Arthur and Shelob to get most of the experience in the coming areas. Don't worry, I will have times for Crush and Naz to do a little bit of catch-up, but for the time being, yeah, these two are kind of going to be the star of the show, just because we're going to be running into areas with a lot of water-type Pokemon. I will try to be using Shelob more than Arthur, just for the simple fact that Shelob is a lot stronger. Or not as strong, excuse me, is what I meant to say. Arthur can hold his own in more scenarios. Come on, break through the confusion. Thank you. Let's take you out. First one down. And with that increased attack, we should be more than capable of taking that thing down if we wouldn't have already. Next, we got Palpitoad. Let's keep going with Arthur, I suppose, since you've decided to throw 2 ground types at me. Again, let's break through that confusion. Come on. Nope. For the shot. It's okay. I'm going to go immediately heal as soon as I get back to Icirrus City anyway. This is just sort of a detour we're taking to start this episode off. There is the confusion gone. Leaf Blade should take you out no problem. And now goes Palpitoad. All right. Level 40 for you. And last but certainly not least is Clang. Okay, this would be the one instance where I would actually not mind having Lumiette, but I think I'll switch on over to Crush for this because Crush isn't really too worried about the steel type moves. It's more the electric type attacks, but Clang isn't going to hurt too bad from those. I did not mean to select Rollout. That was a massive mistake on my part. I meant to use Bulldoze. Oops. That could cause some problems. I might have to switch then, if that's the case, because I did not mean to do that. But I'm also stuck until a Rollout misses, so I'm just going to have to hope that Crush can beat this thing before it beats Crush. Probably not going to happen, though. That was a big mistake, because I'm going to need at least 3 more hits to take this thing out, but with its special attack constantly going up, I'm in trouble. Gosh dang it, if I had just not fat-fingered Rollout, we would not be in this situation. I'm so sorry, Crush. Because I'm going to need, yeah, at least 1 more of those, but no, there's no chance. That's my bad. Shouldn't have done that. All right, well, since that is now the case, let me switch on over to Arthur again. And I'm actually going to revive Crush just so that he can get the experience he deserved out of that. I did him dirty in that scenario. That was entirely my fault. I apologize. Just a couple of bulldozes would have been more than enough. Not Automatize. Oh, yeah, that's another really good move. That sharp speed raise and also Nimble, which, if I remember correctly, Nimble, I think it prevents paralysis. But I think that's all that it does. So, let's use Leaf Blade. Another Automatize. Again, that increased speed makes it the fastest thing in the West. Can't become Nimble again. And then it's going to use Gear Grind, which is not going to be helped out by Charge Beam, but this could still hit 5 times and be the death of me. It did not, thankfully. And down you go. I made that way more complicated than I needed to just by not paying attention to what I was pressing A on. But at least we got Crush to level 38. There we go. And now, let's take a look on over this way briefly. We got an item here. Indeed, TM90 Substitute. This is a move that sacrifices a quarter of the Pokemon's HP to put out a substitute. A substitute has a set amount of HP damage that it can take before it breaks. It's, I believe, that quarter of HP, but it also basically allows the Pokemon that is using the substitute to take a free hit. So if they take less than the amount of damage, or, you know, like let's say a status move or something like that is thrown out that would not otherwise break the substitute, it is just there to kind of take the hits until that quarter of health has been dissipated, in which case it will break, and then the Pokemon will be sent back out in its place. It can be really useful in certain situations because what it can essentially allow, especially in battles where a Pokemon is spending its time setting up rather than doing actual damage, this will buy you a whole extra turn to dish out more damage on the setting up Pokemon in the meantime. So it can actually be pretty darn useful in that regard, but none of my team members are going to be learning it, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. All right, guys, that is pretty much everything I wanted to do here. Now, I will meet you in New Vema Town, where we will be set to head off to the next route that is available to us, which is, and I'm actually going to go into my town map for the first time in a very long time. Why don't we take a look at that really quickly? So we head all the way down here. You will notice we have New Vema Town, but over here, Route 17 and Route 18. Interesting. We're going to have to check those out, and we will be doing that in a moment. So I'll see you there in just a second. Ah, home sweet home. It has been a while since we've been back here in New Vema Town, but we're not actually going to be doing anything here. No, we're going to be immediately moving on, unfortunately, because that is not where the excitement is. The excitement is actually further out into the ocean. But real quick, I just got to make sure, do I have a Super Repel active still? I do. Okay, I am almost out of those, but I did manage to buy, 40 max repels before I left Icirrus, as well as a bunch more Ultra Balls, which are going to be coming in handy a little bit later on. But let's just take this path down, and it's going to wear off immediately. Now, I'm not going to be talking about any new Pokemon just yet, not until we get into Route 17 proper, which probably won't actually happen until the next episode. But I will pull out my dowsing machine, because that is going to come in handy for a few things. Let's grab this item back here. We got ourselves a Max Ether. Not bad, and this is kind of my last hurrah, my last chance to use Naz as much as possible while we are still here on the ground. And then as soon as we get out into the water, obviously, that's when I'm going to be doing a little bit of switching. So let's just keep Naz going. Also Crush as well. We got Swoobat. Back to seeing these little turds flying around, not really contributing all that much, but the occasional heart stamp. And of course, this one's probably going to end up using like a tract or something, which will be really obnoxious. Let's see if we can't just take this thing out with Naz. Amnesia. Okay, you know what? Honestly, just as obnoxious. Because all it does is mean I have to take an extra turn to knock you out. Almost got you. Hey, yeah, there we go. That's what I like to see. Use Air Slash or something. Holy critical hit damage. Wow, that was actually really brutal. Was not expecting all that. Yeah, that definitely should not have done that much normally, but whatever. Swoobat. Thank you for all the experience, though. Level 40. And then we've got Simisear. Okay, let's do a little bit of switching. Crush. This time I'll be sure to actually pick the correct move on you as opposed to accidentally clicking Rollout in a situation. I mean, Rollout would honestly be good here, but I think I should be able to get away with one-shotting you with Surf. That is not going to do a lot of damage. This should be more than enough. If it's not, I will just finish it off with a Bulldoze, but nope, we are good. Got the crit too, just for good measure. And there we are. So we'll get ourselves our obligatory berry for our troubles. Thank you. Person berry, too. That's actually a nice one to have because that heals confusion outright and prevents me from having to use a full heal in its place. Now, let's continue over this way. We got a fisherman guy over here. You know what? I'm going to keep Naz out for this one. I'm more worried about it when we actually start to come into contact with the swimmers. Let me really quickly use... Where are my lemonades at? I know they're around here somewhere. There, I went right past them. There they are. Let's use that really quickly. Give you all of the health. Almost the full amount on the lemonade from that singular Air Slash. My goodness. And we're just going to basically be taking care of all the trainers remaining here on this route, which is still technically Route 1. We're not going to be going into Route 17 until we go through a gate, which is a bit further down, so just bear with me. We will make it there eventually. I'm playing with fire here, going up against this Frillish straight up, but whatever. It's probably going to try... Well, I was expecting something like a Hex, but maybe it has complete confidence it'll cause confusion. That's what I thought, speaking of the devil. All right, well, let me go back to... You know what? Why don't I just use that person berry that I just got? Because might as well. No point in just holding on to the berries. And you're using Recover. Okay, well, thank you for that. That's going to be something we're going to probably have to fight against this entire time, aren't we? Well, I will use it again because it wouldn't surprise me that they're going to try to use Recover on the next turn. Ooh, confusion right back at you, though. That's what I like to see. Beautiful. Well, that's what you get. And now, just to make sure I finish this thing off, I'm going to use another Psybeam here. And I'm sure the next Pokemon is also Frillish, in which case I will be happy to switch on over to Crush and use Crunch. You know, that parallel is kind of hilarious and incredibly unintentional, but whatever. Frillish isn't too tough of a Pokemon to deal with anyway. Its evolved form is pretty tanky, but that's kind of all it is pretty tanky. It's not really worth anything else of note. I mean, it doesn't really hit hard. It's not very fast. Any of that stuff. It's just kind of a wall, but not even like a super incredible. It's just a specially defensive wall more than anything. But it looks like there is another hidden item over this way and also only one more trainer. So let's take you on next. And it looks like we're just going to have to kind of go down this side path to get on over to that item. So this will probably be Naz's last fight, and then we'll put him on the back burner for a little bit. Chinchino. Okay. That is interesting. You know, I think I might actually throw up a Reflect to start things here, because this Chinchino, while I'm not really worried about the amount of damage it's going to do inherently, I could get really unlucky with this thing hitting like 5 times with Tail Slap, for instance. So that's the main reason in it, plus those, you know, those abundance of crits. So that's 3 times, and that is why I had that up. Otherwise, we would actually probably need to heal on that alone. But there we go. Another Tail Slap sequence. This is why you are here. Just 2 times. We should be able to finish you off with the next Psybeam. I cannot wait until Naz gets access to Psychic. My goodness, this is one of the main reasons I have been holding on to the PP ups that I have been gathering throughout the game. Okay, Zeb Strike. I'm going to try this. I'm going to go with Crush. I'm going to hope that Solid Rock holds up enough that Crush can just bulldoze his way to victory here. especially if this thing tries using something like Spark as opposed to Shockwave. There we go. So let's see how much this actually does. Oh, yeah, that's what I like to see. Now, the Paralyze I do not like to see. That's a bit unfortunate, but the fact that that really doesn't do a whole lot of damage is kind of awesome. Good for you, Caracosta. Come on. No, Crush, I know you can break through this. I believe in you. Oh, I guess we did have the Reflect up, though. Didn't even think about that. So that did offset damage by a fair bit. There we go. Now we can actually hit this thing. Not going to quite one-shot it, but we will at least lower its speed. Now, do I have... I was going to say, do I have any full restores? I don't think I do. I'm just going to use a Lemonade here. And then I'll try to get in one more Bulldoze, and then we should be fine. And then I'll Paralyze Heal after the fight. But yeah, with Solid Rock, it's pretty good. You know, you couple that with a Reflect, and it might as well not even be super effective, but still pretty good at tanking that damage on physical super effective moves. Come on, there you go. Good job, Crush. Very proud of you. I just wanted to make sure he got all that experience to himself. Not bad. And down goes Pokemon Ranger Claude. All right, you're going to give me a Person Berry too? I would appreciate that. Thank you. Those are definitely going to come in handy. All right, let me go grab this item really quickly. And there's actually 2 items here, so let's grab that one first. Another big mushroom. It's going to be nice when we actually can get ourselves a Balm Mushroom. Got myself a Pearl as well. Very rare to find a Pearl that's not just a hidden item on the beach somewhere. But let me take this off. And ladies and gentlemen, that is actually going to be it for this episode of Let's Play Pokemon White. I hope you all enjoyed it very, very much. In the next episode, we're going to be advancing on to Route 17 and as well as 18, actually. We should be able to get into both. They're kind of interconnected in a way, and we're going to be kind of traveling between the both of them. So do keep that in mind as we go into this next area, but it's going to take a couple of episodes to get through all of it. But also, there's a lot more routes that we have to go back to. We have to backtrack to with our newfound strength and surf and whatnot. And this is going to ultimately, in about maybe 3-4 episodes from now, result in us catching our 6th team member. So I hope you're all looking forward to that. With all that said, thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this episode very, very much. And I will see you all in the next one.